Hello, hello, this is Kirsten. There we go. Hi there, my name's Kirsten Foss. Hi Rebecca. Some of you coming on know me already, but for those joining that don't know me, my name is Kirsten Foss and I'm a business coach for the salon and spa industry. And my background is as an esthetician. You can see my little studio back here. And I've had many incarnations of my business. I've done mobile. I started off my business as renting space in a hair salon, to which I was able to hire a staff member and kind of try my hand at being a leader, being an employer, fairly low risk. And then the next stage of that business was to grow and get bigger. And I opened up storefront. And I had to hire many more estheticians. I had to hire reception staff. And so, of course, you know, when you're trying out your, good morning, Danica. When you're learning, there is a big learning curve. So, you know, I can look back on my learning curve as an employer and share my mistakes, because if I've made them and I share them, then hopefully you don't have to make the same mistakes. So I get really cranky when I feel like I am reinventing the wheel. And that's why I like sharing, my thoughts on leadership, on spa business with other salon and spa owners, because I don't want you to be frustrated and reinvent the wheel. So anyways, today's topic is the three mistakes I made with my team. And I made a lot of them, but I'm just going to talk about the three main ones. And hopefully you can use this information for when either you are ready to hire your team. You can kind of tuck this info into your brain, or if you have a team already and you know, it's kind of maybe going a little sideways, or you think it could be better, or you're not really sure what could be better. So I know some of you are just starting to play with Periscope as far as watching what others are doing. And I'm not sure if you know, but if you tap the little hearts or the little person, or even tap anywhere on the screen, you double tap the screen, it puts little hearts up. And what a lot of people use those hearts for is, you know, if you hear something that resonates with you, or you know, like I hit the nail on the head, then just, you know, give the screen a tap and give some hearts, so that I know that, you know, I'm speaking your language. All right. And then the other thing that you can do with Periscope is you can actually slide the screen and share the scope. So if you wanted to do that, if you have people that you know could use this kind of information, you can always share it. Anyways, on to the topic. So 3 mistakes I made with my team. Number 1, I did not, my training period for new staff was incomplete, and it wasn't long enough. So I think this is one of those throwbacks from this industry where it's kind of the blind leading the blind. We've watched what our owners have done in the past, or our other employees have done in the past. We watch what other salon and spa owners are doing. And there's this tendency to, if you're busy and you're hiring a staff member to, take on the overflow, is to have this kind of panicked feel like, oh, I got to get them on the floor. I got to get them working. I need them generating revenue. And there's a tendency also to want to hire staff that already have experience, which can kind of blow up in your face, because sometimes they come with baggage. They come with bad habits. I personally like to hire straight out of school. I hired based on their touch and their personality, because I knew I could train them. That was my mindset later. But at the beginning, when I had my own employees, what I noticed was that I'd thrown them onto the floor too early, and they really weren't prepared enough. And so, what I did to fix that is I spent a lot of time putting together protocols for all of my treatments, every single one of them, from like a small tiny brow shape to, a full body wrap, or, whatever it was. Every single service had a protocol. And what I ended up doing when I kind of shifted this whole thing around was I made my training program much, much longer. And so I would kind of step them in so that I wasn't just throwing them onto the floor and kind of hoping for the best. So that was my first mistake. My training was not complete, nor was it long enough. Okay. So what ended up happening was that there was loose protocols happening. So in the treatment room, as a spa owner, you don't really know what's happening. And what I found out after the fact was that they weren't really following the same protocol I wanted them to follow. But it was really my own fault, because I hadn't written down the protocols, I hadn't trained them long enough, and I hadn't been following up. So I really didn't know what was happening in that treatment room. So as a result, the services were inconsistent between my staff members. And, I really couldn't fully guarantee to a client that if she went to Pat, that she could absolutely equally enjoy and get the exact service. I mean, it would be a different personality from, Leah. I couldn't guarantee that. So when I did get my act together, and I had proper training and proper protocols and all that kind of thing, all of a sudden I was able to move clients if needed. So if they called and they wanted Patricia, but they couldn't get into Patricia, I now could say with full confidence, they can now go to Leah. So number 2, the second mistake that I made with my team is I wasn't coaching them. And I just didn't, this is a leadership thing, and I just didn't know any better. So, they'd be on the floor, they'd be working, and they would maybe do something that I didn't approve of or thought should be different. And I had this tendency to get my knickers in a twist and get kind of cranky about it and try to, tell them, okay, no, it needs to be like this or it needs to be like that. But really what I should have been doing is more coaching. And, coaching isn't just telling you what to do. It's pulling out from that other person why they do what they do and making them think critically about why they're doing what they're doing. So that was mistake number 2. I wasn't coaching my staff. Coaching your staff, it takes more time and energy, yeah, but you're investing in your team. And as a leader, you need to do that. You need to be coaching your staff consistently. Number 3, the third mistake that I made, and this is probably, I'm not sure how many salons and spas are doing this right now, but I was paying straight commission. And the reason why that was a mistake was because when you pay straight commission, there's this tendency to, to kind of have a mindset that this is my business. So that service provider feels that I'm on commission, this is my client, that there's this ownership of their client. There's also a tendency not to be a team player. The mindset is I'm not being paid to, fold laundry. I'm not being paid to help another staff member if they're slammed, to help clean up and set up their room for them while they get a quick bite to eat. There's just kind of this typical mentality. I'm not saying with all commissioned employees, but it's a very, very strong mentality with commission that, I get paid only on my services, and therefore I'm not, I don't need to do anything else. The other thing with commissioned employees is they feel like if there's nobody in their column, they can take off for the day, come earlier or leave early. And that causes a whole bunch of problems. Like what if people are booked in and they're not available? In fact, I'm working with a VIP client right now where that happens all the time, and she's really frustrated, but they're paid on a commission. And so it's really difficult to say you need to stay when they're really only being paid per client, per service. So paying commission gets into a real sticky, ugly mess for employers. My preference, I switched my team over to team-based pay, and that was, I did that through Strategies. So if you're interested in that, more information on that, you can go to strategies.com. But at the very least, I believe that you need to tie your wages, and if you play a wage plus commission, to tie anything to productivity, to their outcomes. So tying their pay to how booked they are, tying their pay to their retail sales, not just a commission on the retail sales, but reaching certain benchmarks. So, it basically, when you're paying commission, there's just this, it's almost impossible to try to create this environment of productivity and looking at numbers. It tends to be just looking at the number for what the paycheck is. It's not looking at the numbers in your business and how to grow the business, especially as a team. So those, those are my top three mistakes that, for those of you that just popped on, my number one was my training period was not long enough, and my actual training program was definitely not complete enough. So staff were just getting thrown in on the floor and hoping for the best. Number two was I wasn't coaching them. So if I didn't want them to do something and I wanted them to have a different behavior, often I was just telling them to not do something and quickly telling them how I wanted them to do it. But I wasn't coaching them through the why necessarily, and I wasn't also helping them think critically about things in the business. And number three, I was paying straight commission, and it got me in a whole lot of trouble. It got me in trouble financially because I couldn't control my labor costs, because of course, if you're busier, they make more money. And if you're not as busy, you don't make as much money. And so my labor costs were just up and down and up and down. Whereas with a wage, it's fixed and I can control it. But as far as company culture, commission was very, very difficult. It's very similar in the States to if you've also got independent contractors. Really difficult to get any kind of control with your business. So those are my top three. I've got to run in a few minutes here. I don't know if you guys know, but I sit on the board of the Estheticians and Spa Professionals of Association of BC, and I'm their Marketing and Communications Director. And this, for those of you that are coming and joining me from the States, most of Canada is deregulated for spa, aesthetics, hair, nails, everything. Laser, totally deregulated. We have no governing body. And eSpa BC, the association I volunteer for, we are trying to re-regulate, although that will probably not happen. Instead, we're working on educating our members who are estheticians and spa professionals. So what I'm doing this morning is I'm going to be joining the president of eSpa BC, Louise, and a long time SD friend. She was my very first manager at my very first job, so I've known her over 20 years. And her and I are going to hop on Skype, and we're going to record some podcasts for new estheticians. And we're going to start with talking about what to expect from this industry. So, hi, Pam. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to go to Serious Business this year. I really hope that we can. Serious Business was an awesome conference. It was pretty exciting to be in. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to go there, but if I do, I will for sure see you there, Pam. Okay, gang, I got to run. I'm going to start my work with Louise and recording that podcast, and I will probably see you somewhere else on social. You can find me at refreshedbiz.com if you want more information about what I do and how I coach and what I offer. And we'll see you next time on Periscope. I've actually kind of made a challenge for myself. I want to do a Periscope every day this week. So I want you guys to hold me accountable for that. So I'll be on tomorrow morning as well, maybe a little bit later. So anyways, thanks for joining me. We'll talk to you soon.